Okay, so we're here for the fact that Alec Baldwin shot someone, which is a sentence that I either never thought I would be saying or really did actually think there was a possibility I would be saying. In reality, Alec Baldwin has been a bit of an issue for everyone for quite a few years. He's pretty famous for his temper tantrums, especially when things don't go his way. We recently experienced that with his wife, Hilaria, or Hillary, as some might like to call her, who got herself embroiled in a little bit of a scandal because she was identifying as Spanish when she was not really Hispanic in any way, shape, or form. And Alec doubled down on that. Definitely, he spent interviews saying how much he loved his Spanish wife and his half-Spanish kids. And so he was holding up the ruse. She used a ruse to catch him, actually, in the first place. She managed to figure out what restaurant he was going to because she was friends with the person who owned it. And then the person who owned it told her when he was going to be there. And she showed up and just magically ran into him. And they made a connection. So it's been manipulative from the beginning between those two. And the reason I'm actually bringing Hilaria up is because this shooting impacts her, too. There's a very direct impact upon her and him. And really what we're here for is why? Why did this happen? What's going on? What's his karma? What relates to that? And what's going to happen going into the future? So I'm going to use astrology to try to figure out the whys and wherefores of this. And we're going to use the transits from when it occurred. I put it at roughly 2 p.m. There's the picture. And you can see that there's a number of direct or pretty direct hits. Mercury, transiting Mercury to his moon, transiting Mars to his Jupiter retrograde in Libra, along with his sun, both of which are close enough to his north node. And then there's that Uranus-Moon conjunction that occurred on that day in Taurus, which is not on his south node, but it's toward his south node. And then we had Jupiter in Aquarius transiting his Venus, and Saturn in Aquarius almost, well, exactly opposing his natal Uranus in Leo. So, all of that together, why did this happen? I would have to say it's his impulsivity and his anger, first and foremost. And that would be the Mars-Sun transit to his Jupiter. It's also how he communicates, and the fact that he is not always very Librian in the way that he communicates. He's more Aryan. You know, he's very angry. And there are definitely rumors that would confirm the fact that he had not created a wonderful environment on the set. And he's well known for being rather angry, frustrated, impulsive, and difficult to work with. So all of those things were true of that. And then you have that Saturn opposing, transiting Saturn in Aquarius opposing his natal Uranus in Leo. It's on the ICMC, so it's going to be very visible. This is because of his inability to take responsibility correctly. He's already, he said, oh, I did it, I'm sorry, but he's already lawyering up and dancing around some of the things that people want him to say, you know. They'd like him to be a little less tone deaf and more apologetic, and he's starting to get angry about it again because he doesn't feel like he was responsible for it. He feels like it was somebody else's responsibility. Yeah, well, Alec, you're the producer. You're one of the 6 producers on that movie. It is your responsibility. Everything that happens on that set is ultimately your responsibility. So you need to take responsibility for everything, including loading live ammo in there somehow. You know, that was really, you chose the armorer too. You say you have a close relationship with her. I bet you that he would throw her under the bus in a heartbeat if it had to happen. So really, the issue here is that Alec is impulsive and angry, and does not like to take responsibility for his life, really. So it's all kind of coming home to roost for him. That's the why for him. Also, it's secretly, because Juno is involved here with Venus conjunction, and it's kind of a secret. Juno was Jupiter's wife. She was very jealous, blah, blah, blah. But it secretly has to do with his wife and who he married and his defense of her. It also has to do with the nepotism that has allowed him to get work in Hollywood because of his family. So this is all just kind of like, it's a conglomerate karma that's coming down on his head all at once because of an incident that he really caused. And then the interesting thing is, if you put Hilaria then in the transits in this chart, you will see that there's actually some more direct hits for her. Venus is exactly on her south node. Pluto is right on her ascendant. Jupiter is exactly conjunct her moon, and Uranus and the moon transiting are opposing her natal Saturn in Scorpio. So, and then the transiting Sun and Mars were right on her Mars. So, is her Mars return. And that's karma. So this will directly affect her core emotional body, that Pluto on the ascendant, as it relates to her public image, because it is on the ascendant. And the exposure of her lies from her past are going to lead to a dissociation from normal ethical values. You can already see it in her yelling at reporters and all that, because that's transiting Venus in Sagittarius exactly on her south node in the 11th. She's going to start traumatizing others. That transiting Uranus moon conjunction opposing her Saturn in Scorpio in society, that Saturn, emotionally, that's that moon involved. And it would just be traumatizing to all of society to see her for who she really is, that she's actually a very angry person, just like Alec. And that's why they're attracted to each other. And also, it will kind of take down her image as this perfect, like, calm, unemotional, centered, grounded mommy, because she's obviously letting us see that she's not any of those things. So that's the fallout for the two of them. It's karmic. It really is. It has to do with the fact that they're lying about what their values really are, about what their ethic really is. Their ethic is the same ethic that the top 1% always has, and that's to make more money, make more money, make more money, and make more money, and always be seen and be better than everyone else. So this better than everyone else thing is coming home for them right now, karmically. So if we want to know what the fallout is, we can do a little prognostication with some tarot cards. Sometimes they're accurate, sometimes they're not. So everybody's got their own way of doing tarot. It's just going to be your own personal preference here. I have a certain pattern that I'll lay out for a yes or no question, and a certain pattern that I'll lay out for a more wide-reaching question. So I will be putting a picture up of the reading that I do so that you can see what it looks like, and I will give you my interpretation. Now, I personally have to close my eyes and meditate while I shuffle in order to get a number to shuffle to for the answer to the question. Sometimes I'll get like flickers and flashes of imagery that will go along with what I am trying to figure out in this question. So, question we're going to ask is going to be, what will happen with Alec and Hilaria because of this shooting? So now I'm going to shuffle until I get a number, while I'm asking the question in my head. I got Saturn as an image. I got the poop emoji. I don't know why. A giraffe, oddly enough. Okay, the number I got to shuffle to was 6. It's usually a pretty solid, stable number. 2 3s. Can be very indicative, evocative, telling. And I don't know what that giraffe meant there. The poop emoji, the fallout for them with the poop emoji, we can guess what that means. So, and Saturn, it was the symbol for the planet, Saturn, and that's them taking responsibility again. All right, let's see what we get for what the fallout for this is going to be. Okay. And you will get a picture of this reading. Okay. It might split up their marriage. Depends on how strong. Oh, litigation. Lack of energy. It's like fated. This was fated to happen to them because they are a pairing. This actually has to do with their marriage more than it has to do with anything else, believe it or not. They had a lot of felicity in the past. You'll be able to see that with the 6 of Cups. But that overturned 5 of Cups as it interacts with the Knight of Pentacles. And there was once a felicity that allowed them to make money in a very strong pairing together. But now, because of it, there's going to be all of these arguments, all of this litigation. The 2 of Cups overturned. It's going to put a big strain on their relationship. They're going to find that they lack the energy to actually get out there in the world and present themselves in a creative way. And this is fated for them as a pairing. I will be placing a picture, or pictures, actually, because it takes about 3 pictures to really see the entirety of this reading. But I will put that up there. But, I mean, the eventual outcome, litigation and the possible breakup of their marriage, possibly, or it's just them against the world. So, you know, litigation and them against the world, and that's going to put a hell of a strain on their marriage, and it may eventually break them up. As for what the outcome of the litigation is, again, it's going to overturn them as a couple. It's going to have an effect really on their public image. And because it's going to have a severe effect on their public image, it's going to affect their ability to make any more money. So they're just going to have to make do with all the millions they already have. Oh my goodness! How will they ever manage that? I could not. Without my millions, what would I do? Hey, I make do on less than $1,000 a month for 3 people. So there's a big difference between them and the rest of us. And that's why when you get into a position like Alec Baldwin and Hilaria have gotten into, the fall, when it comes, is so much harder and tougher because it is so public. So we'll have to wait and watch and see exactly how this unfolds. But for now, that's how I'm going to call it. So wishing you all the love and light and happiness in the universe.